everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Mr. and Mrs. Traveler here.
It's Il Cost Glam.
All right, everybody. First of all, if you would please be so kind, please make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you know when we upload videos or go live like this. We thank you so much for the love and support and helping our channel grow and succeed.
Thank you so much. If you want to make that next adventure, please give us a call, 877-697-4470, or we can be reached at www.mr-traveler.com.
All right, everybody. So let's jump into it. Today we want to do a pros and cons. We did the seashore a couple of times this year. Actually, I think we did it 3 times. Didn't we? No, we did it twice.
I think we did it twice.
We did it twice this year. But we've been on seashore a total of 3 times because we've been on it before. But instead of doing the pros and cons necessarily on the seashore, we decided we're going to do a pros and cons on the seaside class. And since we've been on all 4 ships and experienced them, there are some similarities, a lot of similarities between all 4 ships and a couple of subtle differences. But we decided to do this pros and cons. So if you're thinking about booking one of these ships, we can give you some advice and some tips on things to do, not to do, or maybe this help you make your mind up if you want to give the ships a chance.
Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and we decided to put our own opinions on it because we cruised MSC so many times. We actually just cruised it for our anniversary. It was lovely, but there was some hiccups there, so we'll be going over all that. But hopefully you enjoying this. If you love cruising MSC, or if you ever cruise MSC, just comment below and let us know. We want to hear your feedback.
All right, and we're both sitting here today because we want you to make sure that we get kind of a male opinion view of it and a female opinion view. Yes. Because we all have different tastes and things that we look for in the ships. So hopefully this will help give you an all-around perspective on the ships.
Let's get started.
So this class of ships started out in 2017 with the Seaside, which we really enjoyed doing it when it first came out. I mean, it was just so innovative and different. It was followed up by the Seaview in 2018. We had to push pause because of a pandemic, and we didn't get the Seashore until 2021. And we have the latest edition, the Seascape, in 2022. Now, from the outside, they virtually look very similar. And if you've been on the channel before, I always describe them as a Miami Beach hotel on water. They're very uniquely designed. When you see them on the water, you know what it is, right?
Yeah, it's very glam.
Yeah, so it's a really cool ship. So on the outside, very, very different ship, but there are some differences we want to talk about. So I think what we can do, let's start off talking about the pros that we have, and this will go for all of the classes of the Seaside ships. And then at the end of the video, we'll go over the cons, and there are some subtle differences between the 2 newer ones and the 2 older ones that'll be important for you, especially when selecting a cabin.
Yes, it's hard to decide which one you like the best because they almost similar yet different. But we're going to try to break it down for you and bring those facts to you today.
Yes, indeed. All right, so let's start off with the pros. First of all, from the exterior, as we've already said, the ship has an amazing, awesome design.
I love the aft of the ship more than anything because it does feel like a South Beach hotel, maybe a W hotel. It has a sleek look, yet contemporary. It's nothing outdated about it. And the pools are really deep, so I really like that, but we're going to talk about that later.
Yeah, and the back of the ship has that glass elevator that goes from all the way at the top, deck 16, all the way down to deck 8 is where it goes to. They have a nice wraparound deck on deck 8. The back of the ship is all glass. Those suites back there are just simply beautiful. So the ship design exterior is it's amazing.
Yeah, it's very modern. If you like that type of ship, you may want to try MSC.
Yep. So that leads us into our next pro, which is going to be, it's a very budget-friendly cruise line option.
It really is.
Yeah. You've heard us say we're probably the biggest proponents of MSC on YouTube.
I think we're the biggest bloggers by far. We blog everything on MSC. We've presented MSC on YouTube, actually. It felt good to do it too.
Yeah, I mean, I was excited to see something new
and different
come into the line, and to see something that had some real potential. And I knew they had potential a long time ago, but as we said before, it was the food, and we'll get into that some more. But in trying to still break into the market, Their prices are really on point, especially if you're looking like for summer trips and things like that with the family. I mean, Carnival's not even beating them for 7-day cruises. They're doing very well on pricing, and you will not be disappointed at all if you try one of these Seaside class ships for you and your family.
We get a lot of calls from moms and dads who want to take their whole family, grandma, grandpa, and the 4 kids with them. You can't beat the competitive deals that's on MSC. I have to give accolades to them for dropping their prices to become competitive, because they're breaking into the American market. They're doing an awesome job of keeping the prices down, and that's what I really love about MSC. You can go have a vacation and just come home and not be broke,
Yeah.
or go into debt.
And another pro I'm going to throw in here is that it really is family friendly. There's so many things for the children to do on board the ship. They have the Do-Re-Mi land, which has different sections depending on your child's age. But all of the ships have that really cool kids waterscape area.
Is that called jungle? I think it's called jungle.
Yes, the jungle area in the middle of the ship.
Area.
And it's like a 3-story water slide, water features. I mean, listen,
It's awesome.
I want to go in there and play.
Yes, the adults can cool off in there too. It's really good for the kids, not only for the kids, the adults too. Sometimes me and Mr. Traveler jump in the pool, with them, and I really love the deep pools.
And they also have a really huge arcade on each one of these ships. So there's tons of stuff for the kids to do on there if you're worried about family options.
Yeah.
So let's break into our next pro, which is probably, I think Mrs. Traveler's one of her favorite things is the interior design.
Yes, I love the contemporary. Let me just talk about it for a minute. The glam. As soon as you walk in the atrium, if you're walking through the doors, it hits you like a ton of bricks with all the glitz and glamour. I love that. And it's not over the top to where it's just a Vegas scene at night. It's just enough to have that contemporary look where you feel like you somewhere different, and it's totally different from Carnival and Royal Caribbean with all the Swarovski crystals everywhere and the DJs on 2 floors. It's just a different look.
Yeah, when you walk in the lobby, I mean, it just hits you like bam! It just hits you in the face. You see the beautiful Swarovski crystals on both stairways on both sides. This centerpiece that goes up the top, which is filled with mirrors and lights, and I mean, it's just absolutely stunning, the layout and design of the interior design of the ship. And that goes for the cabins as well. The cabins are very well laid out.
Hey,
we really love how they put the television in the middle of the stateroom so you can watch it from either your couch or from your bed, and it swivels.
Yes.
Really, really great options for most of the cabins. So bravo for the design inside and out.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so another pro for us now, which used to not be a pro, is they have vastly improved the menu across the fleet.
It's changed tremendously.
Yeah, that was, if you ever watched our very first video on there, and that was on the Seaside, was our first trip on MSC, and it was a little rough on the food.
It was a culture shock, because they have food from all around the world, and as an American palate, we weren't used to that.
Yeah, very, very European. Blanched vegetables.
Yes.
Not a lot of seasoning.
Charcuterie boards. I hope I'm saying that right.
Right, not a lot of seasoning and stuff, and yeah. So that was 2017. The representative that we spoke to then said, "Listen, we're going to be working on it." And after pandemic times, they have a new American team on the culinary side of things, and they have done a fantastic job improving the menu. The buffet is really great. Most of the cruise line has caught up to the other cruise lines in that we usually say most of our meals are good. There was a couple that weren't great, but it wasn't nothing bad.
Right. I just feel like it needs a little bit more tweaking, and it'll be right up there. They are almost there, because they are totally different than when they started.
All right, next pro is, you've said it a couple times.
What's that?
The deep pools.
The deep pools. That's one of my favorite things about MSC.
Yeah, like all the pools on there, with the exception of the one at the back, the adults only pool at the back, the infinity pool, which is one of my favorite places to chill on the ship. The rest of the pools on the ships all have deep pools. They're like 6 feet deep and over. So you do have to keep an eye on the kids, and it may be a better idea for them if they're younger kids. It might be a better idea for them to be at the jungle pool in the middle of the ship, or the kids area. The other pools on there are deep, and I mean, we really enjoyed it. It's great for you can do laps in there and
Absolutely.
you know, hang out. It's very nice. I enjoy it.
I love that they have lifeguards everywhere too around the kid pools, but make sure you watch your kids. You know, don't make us watch them by the pool, because that's when the kids go chaotic. You know, at the pools, because they're happy to be there. They're jumping in the pool and they don't realize it's 6 feet deep. You know, so you want to make sure you keep an eye on your kids while you're there.
Our next pro for MSC, any one of these ships, actually this is not only for these ships here, it's for all the MSC ships. If you're booking the MSC cruise, do not forget to pack your all white outfit.
Yes.
Because
it's off the hook with the white parties. They are some of the best white parties you will ever go to in your life. I really, really believe that, because out of 80 cruises, hands down, they're the best.
Yeah, they have a great white night party that celebrates the world, and
yeah, I love it.
It's just a lot of fun under the stars as long as the weather's cooperating.
Because me and Mr. Traveler travel the world, we love diversity. We love that different variety of culture. They celebrate that on that ship, and I think that's why that's one of my favorite parties. It's not the party scene, it's the reason why they're doing it, and they're showing us the different dances around the world. That's why I really, really, really love the white parties.
And that segues into our next pro, which is the mixed culture that's on board the ship. Because this is a European line primarily, when Europeans come over to America, they feel very comfortable going on the MSC line, because that's a name that they recognize. It's like you going over to the Mediterranean and going on Royal Caribbean or Carnival or something like that. It's a name that you recognize. And in so doing, and the cruise line does a pretty good job of catering to everybody, because they understand their clientele from the Mediterranean. They're learning us here in North America.
Right.
Because of that, there's a mixture of, we've met people from all over the world in these ships, and it's great just to sit down and have conversations about how things are in their part of the world.
I have never been on a ship from America that is so diverse ever.
Yeah.
When you get on there, it's a bit of a culture shock, because you would think because you're in America, you have the same audience of Carnival and Royal, and it's really not like that.
Yeah.
If you want to experience different varieties of cultures and you want to expand your cultural mind, you try MSC. You will love it.
All right, so and lastly for our pros list is the entertainment. The entertainment,
it's really good.
Was like the food, right? When we first did our first cruise in 17, we were like, what the heck is this?
It was different.
It was very different, and very, to be honest with you, we found it to be very boring.
At first.
But now the shows are more in line with the other cruise lines now.
They really are.
With a variety of entertainments, with comedians,
It
with
felt like a Broadway show.
You know, magic acts, jugglers, singers, dancers,
magicians.
So the entertainment has vastly improved on that.
Yes, it really have. I enjoyed it. At first, me and Mr. Traveler was like, oh my God, what is this? But now it's like a Broadway show where they're coming around a little bit more, and the choreography is so much better than it was when they first started, because I think they was a little bit nervous, or when we first got on the ships, they were brand new, so they were still practicing a little bit, but now I think they're better.
I don't know if you remember, but the first one we went on the Seaside in 2017, they had a Michael Jackson show, and it looks like they ordered their Michael Jackson off of Temu.
Oh no. Maybe she.
It was a little rough.
Yeah, it was rough.
All right, so
they were trying though, so you got to give them that.
Let's move on to the con side of the things. Now, there are a few subtle differences in the ship, and I'm not sure if they still have it or not, but like the Seaside, when we went on there, it had a zip line, and none of the other ships had it, so I'm not sure if it's still on there or not, but it was a lot of fun. They did it. I think it's the Sea View that has the arm thing that floats you around.
It's a robotic arm.
So there's a few little different things on the ships.
Things, yeah.
But I'd say one of the primary things that's different is the two older ships, the Seaside and the Sea View, do not have the 3-story club in the back, the Moulin Rouge.
Oh, really?
Moulin Rouge is only for the two newer ships, the Seashore and the Seascape, when they put the Moulin Rouge in the back of the ship.
Club.
If you recall, the Seaside and the Sea View have a club right off of the deck 8, the adults only pool, and you walk in. There was a club right there.
It wasn't big at all.
Yeah, and actually, it's not even deck 8 on that ship; it's a deck lower on that ship.
It was very small,
which is important because probably the biggest thing that you guys need to know is very important on your room selections when you're looking at decks 15 and decks 9. So deck 15 is going to be your top deck before you go to your Lido deck. You absolutely, positively do not want a balcony anywhere midship on deck 15 unless you enjoy hearing tables and chairs being moved around
all night
22 hours a day.
Because we had one.
You might get a couple hours of peace and quiet, and that's about it. The restaurant above you, which is the buffet, has no carpeting at all. It's all tile floor, and you hear the chairs moving
all night
long. You absolutely do not want a midship on deck 15. The ends are fine if you get one.
It was an inconvenience for us because we didn't get any sleep.
Yeah. The ends are fine, so if you want to do the front or the back of the ship on deck 15, you're fine there because there's other venues or things above you that are not going to be disruptive all night long. It's just that midship location. It is absolutely terrible. The other thing, which I think this is very important, deck 9, they have on there the mini suites, which we just had this. If you watched our previous video, we had this on the
right here
on the seashore. So these are Aurora class, and they are considered junior suites. Now here's the problem: on the 2 older ships, I can see it's not really a problem per se because there's nothing below you. There's a restaurant below you, and so as far as noise goes, I think you're okay. But I'll tell you the commonality that they all have, all 4 of the ships. But first, the 2 newer ships, those same junior suites, which are Aurora class, and meaning they're charging a premium for these rooms.
Make sure you know that.
These last 2 ships, the Seascape and the Seashore, they have a venue underneath them called the Uptown Lounge. And the Uptown Lounge can go, I had to go down both the nights and tell them the party's supposed to have been over with because it sounded like the band was in the room with us. It was absolutely that loud. I mean, it was insanely loud. And the venue was supposed to be done at midnight, and here it is 2 o'clock in the morning. Like, we stayed out a little bit, we were ready to go to sleep. They're still bum, 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 bum. And, you know, I had to go down there and say, hey, the venue was supposed to close at 12. I hate to be that guy, but I'm like, they wouldn't stop. And I'm like, I'm so tired, I just want to get some sleep.
Yeah, it was an inconvenience as well.
And, you know, if they want to have something that late like that, they should take it to the Moulin Rouge. That's what they built that place for. Take it someplace, because the Moulin Rouge is nowhere near any staterooms, and they can be as loud as they want down there and nobody will hear it. But they put it in this Uptown Lounge, and they just kept going and going and going. So, you know, a lot of times when people get junior suites, they get them because they want to enjoy the room. So when they start at 8 o'clock and they go till at least midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning with music, you're going to hear it vividly. That goes for the Seashore and the Seascape. Now, the commonality that between all 4 of them ships that we had on the ship was that these balconies are huge.
They are big.
You know, they're huge. I mean, the balconies are almost as long as the room. I mean, they're huge.
Just as big, but it's very narrow. Is that the one you're talking about?
Well, it's the same. It's the same as
width,
the
actually.
Regular balcony, but it's long.
It's long.
So, you know, your balcony goes from your room all the way to the edge of the ship. But here's the problem: it's open to the elements. So, there's a privacy issue. People looking down on you. People can drop things down on you.
Birds can fly over you.
Anything. But the biggest problem is, and I think this is a design flaw in the ship, is that the soot, and I hate to even say that, but yeah, they had soot coming from the stacks, comes down and it settles on the deck top on your balcony. So all those balconies were absolutely filthy, and as such, people who had been in there before walked out there, and the carpeting in the suites were dingy
It was pretty dirty.
because of the all the dirt coming off of the stacks and landing on the deck. So I don't even know how MSC is charging people extra for these rooms, and it's an absolute disgrace. Do not, warning, and you don't hear us say this very often on this channel, warning, do not book a junior suite on deck 9 with MSC on any of the Seaside class
Probably
ships.
get it for a discount.
Do not do it. We got it because we were upgraded to it. We had a
We had a
regular
regular
balcony booked,
Yeah, it was a regular.
and those were sold out. So we got upgraded to the junior suite. I was like, oh, nice junior suite, and it turned out I would just had rather have my regular balcony. To be very honest with you,
Ladies, if you take me, I don't like to walk around without shoes on. My shoes was filthy. My house shoes. So you want to watch it when you get these suites. So they make it sound really good until you get there. Once you get there, you like, oh my God, what is this? I can't even enjoy the balcony. We couldn't even sit outside to enjoy the ocean and look because we were tracking so much dirt inside.
well, the chairs were dirty too.
They were filthy.
We couldn't even sit in the chairs.
But that was a con.
All right, so that was a big one. Let's get on to the next big one on here, which is the elevator situation on these ships. If you've watched the other videos, you heard us say this before. I'm not going to harp on it too much, but it's like the new fangled elevators that they're coming out with on a lot of ships now, where you walk up to the controller, you tell it what floor you want to go to, and it tells you which elevator to go to, and the elevator automatically takes you. Couple of issues with it. People don't know how to use it, so what they do is the door opens up and they're like, this one going up? Yep, and they just get in. So when it gets to your floor, the elevator may be full already because people have gotten onto this, shouldn't they have gotten on there. The other flaw to it is like, okay, what if there's a family of 20 people and they push a floor and they get on there? The elevator doesn't know that there's 20 people waiting on there, and it gets to you and you can't go up, so it creates an additional wait time. The other part is that the suites guests have the butlers have the card that can make the elevators bypass the floors, which creates additional wait time. So there's a lot of bugs to be worked out with that system.
I'm not sure if that's a good idea.
We were on the Icon with that system and it worked great.
It works fine for some reason on the Icon, and Icon is the largest cruise ship in the world.
But these Seaside class, these elevators are
just
just absolutely horrible. So pack your patience when it comes
you
to
have to pack your patience on the elevator.
Next pro is we found on all of the cabins, we found the bathrooms to be a bit small.
They were really small for some
The
reason.
toilets are kind of configured weird.
It's angled differently.
So it's it could stand a little work right there. And our last thing that we'll touch on, and we found this, maybe not so much the first one, the Seaside, but since then, and this is for MSC kind of in general, I think, whenever we've had issues where we've had to go to guest services, I just get this feeling that I'm bugging them.
It's not a happy experience at guest services for MSC, any of the ships.
Yeah. The Seaside, the guy actually argued with me.
Yeah, we got into an argument
in front of me when I went down to fuss about the elevators. And I went down to fuss about the elevators because there was an elderly handicapped gentleman who was waiting for the elevator for 30 minutes to go to dinner. He couldn't get an elevator.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I've had enough. I went down and complained about it, and he told me that there was nothing wrong with the elevators. So I had to prove my point and ask the entire lobby who's had a problem with the elevators, and everybody raised their hands.
We did a whole video on it.
So,
if you want to watch it, I'll attach it.
That's probably the worst example, but with the status level on MSC, you're supposed to get some gifts and things delivered to your room. We hadn't been getting them, and then we go to guest service and say, hey, we didn't get, whatever we got coming to us. Oh, okay, it'll be in a room. And it doesn't get there, and we go back down. Oh yeah, well, they tell us that we're lying, basically.
Well, they had a lot of issues going on, and we understand that they, a new cruise line to America. But yeah, as far as the guest services people, I wish they would work on the mannerism, because when you approach them, it's like you bothering me. You know, what do you need now? And we're
Yeah.
not used to that because Royal Caribbean and Carnival, Norwegian Celebrity, Princess, they're a little bit more different when you approach that guest service person. I mean, you want the best service you can get. Some of these cruises are hundreds, even thousands of dollars. You want to make sure you get your money's worth. So I understand Mr. Traveler's anger, you know, with guest services and the elevators, but they want to take into consideration, hopefully they watch this video, you know, and realize that, you know, if you're working in customer services, there's a sense of
The customer's always right.
not anymore.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and I think I kind of get what's going on again, because when I would be interacting with customers on board the ship with other passengers, I would notice like the European people would almost shrug it off. They'd be like, well, I'd be like, man, you know, I make a small talk like, boy, these elevators sure are rough. You know, we had to take the elevator we had to take the stairs all week long, you know, and it's like they never went down and say anything about it.
Nope.
So, you know, maybe Americans are a little bit more prone to complain about things when they don't go right. I'm not sure. I'm just making a educated guess, I suppose.
You can comment below and let us know.
But, you know, here's when I went to guest services with the elevator thing, I'm showing the guy pictures where the thing says, we can't get your elevator right now, call guest services, because it was so backed up. Then another time I showed him a picture and it said wait time for the elevator was like 17 minutes. You know, and I'm showing this to him and it's like he doesn't believe what I'm showing him, like I'm photoshopping something and lying to him. But, you know, that's how I feel every time that we have had an issue, like we're just bothering them. And that's the only cruise line I've ever had that experience with.
It's true. It's like us against them.
Yeah. Anyway, so, but besides that, I mean, I really do suggest that you try MSC. I think that you will be pleasantly surprised if you haven't done so already. You know, they're not Carnival, they're not Royal Caribbean and all that stuff, so go in with a little bit of an open mind. But know this, they've come a long way when we first started cruising them, because you really had to have open mind then.
Yes.
Now they're more like a mainstream cruise line, but they still, you know, like we've talked about here on this video, there's a few quirks and things like that, but what a great value for you and your family to go on these beautiful ships. And if we can help you book that dream vacation, make sure you give us a call.
877-697-4470.
Or you can book right online at
www.mr-traveler.com.
All right, thank you so much for all the love and support. We appreciate
ladies,
it.
if you love this look, this will be on my channel. I normally don't be on Mr. Traveler with all this makeup on, but I had to film today, so thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you watching this video today. Hopefully you learned something about MSC today. We're just trying to save you a little bit of money. That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to let you know what we like and what we don't like, and hopefully you can take that and use your money wisely.
Life's short.
Have fun.
See the world, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.